Greetings everyone. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons and leave comments about this video and additional topics you would like covered by All Is Well. Today we delve into a fascinating topic that's sure to stir the pot of economic discussion. Picture this: an economic meltdown, chaos ensues, and the traditional forms of currency lose their value. In such a scenario, most people believe that gold bars or bullion would be the ultimate means of bartering. They're compact, universally valued, and have stood the test of time as a reliable store of wealth. However, there are several scenarios where these shiny bricks of precious metal may not be as useful as one might think. Yes, you heard it right. There are circumstances where gold might not be your golden ticket out of an economic crisis. Intrigued? Stay tuned as we explore these 5 scenarios. Firstly, consider the scenario of limited usability. Gold, as we know it, is a precious metal, often held in high regard for its value and allure. However, in the grand scheme of daily life, particularly in times of economic turmoil, its practical use becomes somewhat questionable. Picture this: you're in possession of a gold bar, a substantial asset indeed. But when it comes to buying a loaf of bread or a tank of gas, how do you break down this gold bar into a usable form? It's not as if you can just chip off a corner of the bar and hand it over at the checkout counter. Gold bars are not designed to be conveniently split into smaller units for everyday transactions. Moreover, even if you could somehow manage to divide it into smaller pieces, there's the question of assessing its value. The worth of gold isn't as straightforward as the value of a dollar bill or a coin. It depends on the current market price, weight, and purity, among other factors. Who, in a regular market setting, would be equipped to accurately appraise this gold fragment? It's not exactly a common skill, and let's not forget, gold in its physical form isn't the most portable of assets. Whether you're carrying a gold bar or a handful of gold fragments, it's heavy and conspicuous. This might not be an issue when you're safely tucked away at home, but in a transactional setting, it's far from ideal. Lastly, gold lacks the immediacy of other forms of payment. In a world accustomed to the convenience of credit cards and digital wallets, waiting for your gold to be assessed and valued could significantly slow down transactions. Thus, gold bars, despite their value, may not be practical for everyday transactions. Our second scenario revolves around the lack of expertise. Imagine an environment of economic meltdown where you are trying to barter with gold bars. Sounds simple, right? Well, there's a catch. Gold bars might seem like a foolproof method of trading, but this isn't necessarily the case. The average person, even if they have a basic understanding of economics or finance, might not possess the skills or tools required to verify the authenticity of gold bars, and this presents a significant risk. Gold bars are sophisticated items. They're not like paper money or coins where you can easily check for counterfeit by simply looking at them. To accurately verify the authenticity of a gold bar, you need certain expertise and equipment. You need to know about the weight, dimensions, and purity of gold. You need to understand the markings that signify its authenticity. And even if you have this knowledge, you still need specialized tools to measure and test the gold bar. So, let's say you're in a post-economic meltdown world, and someone offers you a gold bar in exchange for goods or services. How can you be sure it's real gold and not a cleverly disguised counterfeit? Without the right expertise and tools, you simply can't. You're taking a gamble. And what if you accept a counterfeit gold bar by mistake? Well, you've just traded your valuable goods or services for a piece of worthless metal. That's a huge loss. In a precarious economic situation, such a loss could be devastating. In this context, it's also important to remember that verifying the authenticity of gold bars isn't something you can learn overnight. It requires time and practice, and in an environment of economic meltdown, time is a luxury most people can't afford. So, without the necessary expertise, using gold bars as a currency becomes a gamble. It's a risk that could cost you dearly, and in a world already fraught with uncertainty, adding another layer of risk might not be the best strategy. The third scenario to consider is the security risks involved. Now, gold may glitter, but it can also attract unwanted attention. Holding onto gold bars is akin to having a bullseye painted on your back in a world where law and order have broken down. Imagine this scenario: you've got a hefty stash of gold bars, they're tucked away securely, but word gets out. In an environment of economic meltdown, such a stash is an irresistible magnet for ne'er-do-wells. The threat of theft becomes a constant worry. You'll need to ensure your gold is hidden and secure. which can be a significant challenge, especially when the usual security measures may be compromised. But let's say you manage to keep your gold safe. You've got it hidden away in a secure location that only you know about. Well done, but here comes the next hurdle: transportation. You need to trade your gold, which means you need to transport it. Gold is heavy. A single gold bar weighs around 12.5 kilograms. That's about the weight of a bowling ball. Now imagine trying to discreetly carry several of those around. You're not just a target now, you're a slow-moving, burdened target. You might as well wear a sign saying, "Rob me." And what if you lose your gold? Maybe you've hidden it so well that even you can't find it, or perhaps it gets left behind in a hasty retreat. That's not just a financial loss, it's a loss of your potential bargaining power in this post-meltdown world. In an environment where survival is key, the need to constantly guard and worry about your gold can divert valuable resources and attention. You may find yourself so caught up in protecting your assets that you neglect other aspects of survival. Therefore, the security risks associated with gold bars can make them a liability rather than an asset. In the grand scheme of things, the weight of gold may be more trouble than it's worth. The fourth scenario is a lack of acceptance. Imagine a world where the economy has collapsed, where the value of currency has been eroded to the point of irrelevance. Now, consider this. You've got a stash of gold bars. You're confident, you've got a plan, you're thinking, "I'm set, I've got gold." But here's where we hit a snag. In this crisis situation, the concept of value becomes fluid, shifting. It's no longer about the intrinsic value of gold, but rather about the value of survival. Food, water, shelter, medicine, these become the new gold. These are tangible, immediate needs that gold in and of itself cannot satisfy. Let's paint a picture here. You're in desperate need of a loaf of bread, and all you've got is a gold bar. You go to the baker, offer him a sliver of gold, and he looks at you, perplexed. He needs flour to bake more bread, not a shiny piece of metal. Now, this is not to say that gold would be worthless. Not at all. Gold may still hold value for some, particularly those with a long-term view, those who believe in the eventual recovery of the economic system. But in the here and now, in the thick of crisis, the baker needs flour, not gold. Gold in this context is a luxury, not a necessity. It's a symbol of wealth and power, yes, but in a world where survival is the ultimate wealth, its power diminishes. This is not a dismissal of gold as a form of currency or a store of value. It's merely a reminder that acceptance of gold, or any form of payment for that matter, is contingent upon a mutual agreement of its worth. And in a crisis situation, that agreement may shift dramatically. Hence, in a crisis, acceptance of gold as a currency is not guaranteed. The final scenario we'll explore is the potential for economic recovery. Imagine the dust settles and the economic gears begin to churn again. In this new dawn, the value of gold isn't static. It dances to the tune of market forces, and this could be a waltz or a tango. Let's say you've invested heavily in gold bars, banking on the fact they would be your lifeline in the economic downturn. Now, with the economy back on its feet, the demand for gold could decrease, and along with it, its value. If you were to sell your gold at this point, you might not get back what you initially invested, leading to potential losses. In essence, the value of gold is like a seesaw, and its position can change with the economic climate. So, betting on gold in the event of an economic recovery can be a risky move. In conclusion, while gold bars may seem like a safe bet, they come with their own set of challenges. Let's take a moment to recap what we've discussed today. First, there's the issue of limited usability. In a crisis, necessities like food, water, and medicine become the real currency. Gold, in large denominations, becomes cumbersome to trade for everyday items. Then we broach the topic of expertise. Not everyone is well versed in the ins and outs of gold valuation. This lack of knowledge can lead to exploitation and disagreement, potentially causing more chaos in an already unstable situation. We also delved into the security risks. Hoarding gold bars can make you a target for theft or violence, especially in a time of economic meltdown. Ensuring the safety of your gold assets can prove to be a daunting and risky task. Next, we discussed the lack of acceptance. Not everyone perceives gold as valuable, especially during a crisis when survival essentials take precedence. This lack of universal acceptance can render your gold bars futile. And finally, we touched upon the prospect of economic recovery. Gold is a static asset. It doesn't grow or produce income. In the event of an economic recovery, other assets can provide higher returns, leaving those heavily invested in gold at a potential disadvantage. The takeaway here is not to completely discard gold as an asset. It is, after all, a time-honored store of value, but it's crucial to understand the limitations and risks that come with it. Diversification is key. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, or, in this case, don't stack all your wealth in gold bars. Consider a mix of assets that can serve you well in various scenarios. Remember, diversification is key in any economic situation. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons and leave comments about this video and additional topics you would like covered by All Is Well. Thank you for tuning in.